What's going on? Welcome to the Macro Pigs podcast. I'm Lincoln.
I'm Ava.
And today's episode is brought to you by Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles' more flamboyant cousin.
In tune with the same?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's my running joke now.
Okay.
How are you? How was your weekend?
Busy.
Yes. So
Very busy.
both
you
of us.
too.
Yeah, both of us. Yeah, very, very busy.
Crazy busy weekends.
So we both spent a portion of our weekend in Edmonton.
At different times on the same day.
At different times on the same day for different reasons. So tell me about your Edmonton experience.
I went up there to get tattooed on Saturday.
Yes.
So this was a tattoo that I had booked for a while.
And this is what you got.
That's what I got.
That's
Pretty
what you got.
neat.
So explain it. Because I saw the photo. Explain
it's all good.
the tattoo.
I started following this guy. I use Instagram a lot for art and tattoos, and you do too. It's like just a good way to stay in tune with what people are doing. It's nice to see people's artwork and tattoos. Anyways, I came across this guy, Lip Rat, not his real name, that's his IG handle. And he was out of Vancouver at the time doing really cool traditional tattoos, kind of more on the folk arty side.
Okay.
I don't know if he would like that description of it, but when I think of the different styles of traditional tattoo, it fits more in the folk arty for me anyways. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, so I was going to get tattooed by him in May. My dog ended up getting sick at the time that I was supposed to get tattooed, so I had to postpone it. He had some room in October, so I went up on Saturday to get tattooed. When we were discussing, he was like, what do you want to get? What's the size? All that.
Oh, right. You had said you were like, just do whatever you want.
Yeah, so I just said, do whatever. Like, I love your art, and I just want you to do something that you want to do.
Right.
And he was like, okay. So, I went up on Saturday. Didn't tell him that I was heading up there. I was going to make him think that, like, this Calgary guy bailed. I was going to be like, I wasn't going to be like, yo, see you, like, today or what. I didn't, like, nothing. So I just rolled up and then, it was great. It was good. I haven't been tattooed since pre-COVID.
Really? So like
actually,
2
no.
years?
Actually, no. Sorry, my bad. I did get tattooed about a year ago just for my buddy's name that passed away from work, actually. I didn't remember that till now. But yeah, so he drew up this rad skull, which we showed you, and it's all like, I don't know, broken teeth, and I don't know, it's cool. So it was weird getting tattooed, like for a longer time than 30 minutes.
Right.
But
How long? So how long did you
Dude,
sit
he
for?
banged it out, honest to God.
Are we talking under 2 hours? That's tight.
Like, just like,
Yeah.
like, it was good.
That's how Sam, like, like the guy on the front of my shin
Yeah.
that Sam Smith did? That's what she did. She banged that out in like under 2 hours. And I still get complimented on that tattoo, and people are like, that's a beautiful tattoo. I'm like, oh, yeah. It's never been touched up.
Sweet.
And it looks like
Awesome.
looks like the day she had done it.
Yeah, it does.
That's
It's
one of my favorite tattoos.
Crispy.
It means crispy, yeah.
So how about your Saturday?
My Saturday. So
I was looking for you on the highway when I was driving back.
What
'Cause
time were you driving back?
Well, you told me in secret. Well, not in secret, but you're like, okay, I'm picking up blah, blah, blah at 4:30, and then we're going to hit the road. So I'm like, okay.
he was driving to my house, and then we left.
Oh, okay. Well, I knew
Yeah.
it was like somewhere around that
Well,
time.
I told him, I was like, because he asked me, like, what time do you want to leave? I was like, I want to leave by minimum 4:30.
Right.
But that changed. We left earlier because of another good
Okay. Well,
fun reason.
Yeah.
So I think we left probably, like, he got to my house about 3:45.
Okay.
I think we left at like 3:55. So we were on the road by 4 o'clock for
Nice.
sure. The reason we left so early is because I wanted to grab dinner before the game because we went to the
So you had the reason for your trip.
yeah, we went to the Oilers Flames game in Edmonton. It was my first time going to the arena. It was so much fun. I'm an Oilers fan. He's a Calgary fan. We'll get into that in a little bit. But I was looking up so you've been looking up places to eat in Edmonton because there's places that we potentially want to go and check out, the two of us. And then I was looking up, hey, I want to find somewhere to eat when I go there, like just to grab dinner quick before we go.
Yeah.
And I just typed in like sandwich places in Edmonton because I was trying to look for that one that your friend had said, the one that was something in donuts. And I was like, okay, I want to try to find that one.
Yeah.
I didn't find that one, but what I found is there's a sandwich place called Earl of Sandwich.
Oh, yeah, in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Edmonton.
Oh, okay.
I was blown. Yeah, like it popped up and I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah.
It was like Earl of Sandwich closed and like said the location. I'm like, that cannot be right. There's no way there's an Earl of Sandwich in Edmonton. There's an Earl of Sandwich in Edmonton.
Crazy.
In the South Commons area.
Okay.
So it's like as you're coming into Edmonton on the right-hand side.
Sweet.
Super easy to get to. You know where the IKEA is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right by there.
Okay.
And Krista and I talk about Earl of Sandwich all the time where it's like sometimes she's just like, I'm like, what do you want for dinner? She's like, Earl of Sandwich. Just
Like as a
randomly.
joke. Yeah.
As a joke. Now it's less of a joke because it's like, all right, like I'll take you to Earl of Sandwich because
You wanna
it's
go?
2
Hop
hours
in the
down
truck.
yeah, it's
let's
2
go.
hours down the road.
Skip the dishes?
So I told my friend that I went to the
So
game.
has he been?
No, he had never been
okay.
before. He didn't even know what it was.
Because that's like a Vegas staple when we go. We're like Earl of Sandwich.
Earl of
like-
Sandwich, yeah, and it's in Planet Hollywood.
Yeah.
But there's one at Disney in California.
Okay.
And there's one in Orlando too.
I mean,
think.
that makes sense. Edmonton? Nope.
No, Edmonton. But that's the thing. I looked on Earl of Sandwich's website. There's 2 locations in Canada. There's one in Edmonton and one in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Chains do that.
I know.
Look at Chick-fil-A. They came to Calgary at the airport.
I know they had a terrible location.
What?
Yeah, it didn't make
Not
it.
Vancouver.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, if you're doing Western Canada, you choose Calgary at the airport? Anyways, they seem to have weird choices. When it comes to
so and apparently Edmonton's opening a second location downtown.
that. Okay, so
so
they're going to have. That's good.
Oh, yeah, well, I asked the girl when we got there. I said, well, how long has this been open? She said we opened in June, so like 4 months or whatever.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, all right, cool. So it's brand new.
Yeah.
I ordered my favorite, which is the Hawaiian barbecue. It's got chicken, ham, Swiss cheese, barbecue sauce, and pineapple on it.
Sounds great, yeah.
So good. He ordered the holiday turkey, and it's turkey, stuffing, cranberry,
Yeah.
all this on a sandwich, and he was like eating it, and he's a very cynical, pessimistic person in general. So like getting him to try new things or things that it's always kind of a gamble whether or not if he likes it, he's going to be like, yeah, it was fine. But if he doesn't like it, he was going to be like, he's going to say something.
He's going to ruin the whole day about it.
Not that it's going to ruin the whole day, but he's just kind of he's going to be like, yeah, whatever.
argue
Like it
about
doesn't, yeah, like whatever. Quiznos is better or whatever. He's eating this sandwich and he's looking at me and he's like, oh my God, this is so good. And I'm like, I'm blown away because I don't think I've ever had a reaction
Right.
like that from him for something where I'm just like, holy crap, okay, he really likes this. He's like, this puts Quiznos to shame. He's like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's a real sandwich.
I'm like, all right, that's cool. So I was super happy that like what he ordered
worked out
for him. I was like, perfect. And
how did your sandwich taste
Mine
in
was
comparison
it was perfect.
to Vegas styles?
It was perfect.
Okay, sometimes there's a difference.
I know, and I was worried about that.
Yeah.
No, I was sending Krista photos, and she was like, because I woke up the next morning after I had found out that they had Earl of Sandwich, and I said to her, I was like, I have to tell you something. And she's like, okay. And I was like,
She's going to be so jealous.
I was like, you're either going to be really upset or you're going to be kind of stoked. And she was like, that's really confusing. But okay. She was like, just tell me. And I was like, I was like, I know what I'm getting for dinner. And she was like, what are you talking
about?
She was like, this is all so stupid. And I was like, I'm getting Earl of Sandwich. And then there was this moment of confusion where she was like, what?
Yeah.
She was like, is there one in Edmonton? I'm like, yep. So anyway, that was dinner. Great. Earl of Sandwich. I was super stoked on that. Then we bombed over to the arena. Pardon me. I lost my voice a little bit from screaming at the game.
You sound like Marge's sisters. That wasn't it.
I know. That was I was going to do homie. All right, I can't do it. Whatever. So we bomb over to the arena, and the nice thing with the new arena is you can book parking ahead of time.
Right.
Whether you're in the parkade or wherever you're at, because there's a bunch of parking lots and parkades around the arena. So it's all just predicated on where you're parked. So I just picked the closest one and like the most expensive one, which was like $21.
It's not that bad, though.
It's not horrible.
You split that with someone, it's $10 each.
I just made him pay for it because I'm like, I bought the tickets and he paid $20 for parking to go to this game.
Yeah,
That's not that bad for him.
Yeah.
But That becomes important later in the story.
Okay.
Because you know how hard it is. Like when you're leaving like a Flames game and you know how hard it is to leave Victoria Park. We'll talk about that in a bit. So we go, we park, and like we find the parking easily. Then we take an elevator up to the second floor of this building that we're parked in. And then it's literally just like 1 + 15 across this street and then another + 15 across that street. And we're in the arena.
Nice.
Didn't have to walk out on the street at all. It was
Perfect.
great. So in my head, I'm like, this is going to be awesome for the winter.
Oh, yeah. When it's minus 8 million.
Yeah. Going to games in
sure.
the winter, great. Don't have to worry
Can
about
wear
it.
my shorts.
I'm literally going to wear shorts to every game. And flip-flops. But so we go, we're like going in, and I'm like so excited. This is so cool. We get into Ford Hall, which is like the front main entrance that everybody, you can walk in there, and then they've got the gates that you have to go through to do the ticketing or whatever. And it's all gated off, and they've got like areas you have to walk through where it's like vaccine check or whatever, right?
Okay.
And then you go through the gate, and then it's the security check where you go through the metal detector,
Makes
and
sense.
then you go through and they check your tickets.
Okay.
So it's like 3 levels of fucking security that you have to go through to get into the arena. We got there early enough that like that Ford Hall was packed full of people, and the gates weren't open because the doors were 7. So we got there. It's like 6:30 or something. So we kind of wandered around and just like looked. There was like a little pop-up store in the Ford Hall area. We kind of went and looked at that, and then just like kind of waited. Then they opened the doors, and it was Murphy's Law, of course. You're going to get in behind somebody. It happened on Friday night. Because remember, I went to that Lobster Fest thing at Canadian Brewhouse too.
Okay, honestly,
It was terrible, but
one of the funniest videos I saw was Mel's video of you.
cracking open the lobster.
And you're just like, you're so out of your element. And
Yeah, it
like,
was not fun.
You were like, what is this creature on my
But
plate?
and the funny thing is, Krista likes lobster.
Watching you like dig the tail out
Yeah.
of it. Like, it was hilarious.
Krista likes lobster, and she tried some of the lobster. She was like, that was not good lobster. And I'm like, no, of course not. It was Canadian Brewhouse. Canadian Brewhouse has good food for the most part, but like not for that. Anyway, it was expensive too. It was like $50 a ticket, and you got one. It was anyway. At Lobster Fest, we were trying to get in the door, and they're doing vaccine checks everywhere. And the people that walked in just ahead of us, that like the guy held the door for us, but his entire family walked in before Krista and I, and then we were standing behind them, and there were 6 or 8 of them or something. They were like checking their vaccine cards or whatever, and then it got to one person in their party who didn't have the thing or whatever. There was a problem with it or something. So then there's 8 people standing there, and all of a sudden there's a lineup forming behind us for people to get in, and we're all standing there like,
clogging the
okay,
way. Yeah, like, move.
okay, like get out. Like, can you just
deal with this outside? Because obviously you're
go
not all
out.
getting in.
You're not all getting in. So
or
go
7 of you go sit down.
So of course the same thing happens at the game, at the vaccine checkpoint, where they're like, there was like a problem with somebody's thing. So we're standing. So it's like moving really fast, and then it gets to the people just in front of us, and then we're standing there. And it's like, okay, this is dumb. So then you're standing there, and like all the lines are moving, and you're like, hey, oh my God. Finally, whatever it was, I think they just didn't have it on their phone. They had a paper copy, and that wasn't, I don't know, it was something stupid. So then they get let in. Great. We go through the metal detector. It's all good. We get to the ticketing point. Rogers Place is all digital tickets now. And there's still people trying to like using barcodes on their phones, and the stupid they're trying to scan the barcodes at the thing, and it's not working. So of course we get to the ticketing point, it's moving, and the people literally in front of my friend and I, there was 5 of them, and she's trying to scan one barcode. 15 minutes. I'm not kidding. We're standing there, and the whole time there's 2 lines funneling to one person ticketing, and she's like trying so hard to like get the ticket off this one guy's phone, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, why didn't you? It tells you right on the like my ticket manager thing to add it to your Apple Wallet, so it just be, you know, like when you buy something with your. I know they're dumb. People are so stupid. But when you add, when you buy something with your phone, you like double tap and then you like bling.
Yeah.
That's what the ticket winds up being. So when I open the ticket on my phone, it's now it's like hold close to the reader and the lady. So
it's like ready to be read.
Exactly. So instead of scanning a barcode, it literally I opened it and she was like, oh, and like touched her thing. Okay. Yeah. Next ticket, touch the thing. Yeah. Boom, we were in.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, we're just like standing there and like waiting for like the whole like this as the crowd's moving through, and it's like, oh my God, people. My biggest pet peeve about that is that people don't read, and just like, come on, like get with the times and add the tickets to your Apple
like
phone
it's not
wallet.
working on your Nokia flip phone, bro.
Exactly. Then we just Miller and I just bombed around and like looked at the arena. The arena's really nice, but there's not a lot in it. Not a lot of concessions.
Huh.
It's sparse for what it is.
Huh.
It was weird. We both kind of felt
That's
like
a strange way
yeah,
to
like I
describe
felt
it.
like there was gonna. Well, you know how like so.
Because like in the Saddle Dome, it is packed.
On both sides of the concourse.
Everywhere you go, there is something.
On either side of the concourse in the saddle.
Yeah.
It's just like wall to wall concessions.
Yeah. One after another after
Totally.
another after
and
another.
there's Pizza 73.
Yeah.
There's like a sandwich place.
Yeah.
There's like all these
Tons
different
of stuff.
things.
Yeah.
In Rogers Place, I felt like, okay, there's a Pizza 73, and then there's like nothing.
Huh.
And then there's like the white mud whatever, but that has the same stuff as like the other one.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you have like 2 Pizza 73s, and then you have like a couple concessions that have like beer and hot dogs and burgers, and like there wasn't a whole. I was expecting like a little bit. I guess I was expecting a little bit more in terms of concession.
Yeah.
Like, and it
well,
just,
you would think with like the world today and how like new age and everything is, and how we like to have like amenities and like, things that we can pump our money into. And you think that like once you go into an arena like that, they want to trap you and make you spend as much money as possible,
which they
thus
are, but
giving you as many options as possible. Like I'm surprised that it's not more woke in the fact that like you can go to a dumpling place and then you can go over here and have a poutine place and you can go have a noodle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To like open it. I'm not saying that might necessarily work per se, but I'm surprised it wasn't more options like that.
Well, but I think there is though. That's the thing, and I just didn't know how to like because I saw at a certain point I saw a dude walk by with what looked like a noodle bowl, and I was like, where did you get that? Like, I don't I'm not seeing where because other than the Pizza 73 ones and the beer things. All the concessions look the same, so you really have to like.
You're reading the menu almost.
Yeah, you have to like look really close to
other.
Exactly,
Right.
and I was like, "That's weird."
Huh.
Other than that was the only gripe I had with it. Other than that, the arena's beautiful.
Cool.
I like the way it's built. So we go to.
How are your seats? Because this is the first time sitting in your seats.
This is the first. The seats were actually. I was super worried because I had read online that some people were like, the upper bowl is really uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
This and that. I was not uncomfortable at all.
Sweet.
They are. Okay, so the way the Saddle Dome's built like this.
Yeah.
The Rogers Arena is built like this. It's built straight up. So when you're sitting, we're basically sitting at the very top of the arena because my seats are row 11. And the top bowl is 12 rows. So we're like one
Literally
row.
at the top, yeah.
When you're sitting there, it feels like you're not on top of the ice. You have a great view of the ice from where we are. But it also feels, I don't know. He was complaining. He was like, I don't know, man. These feel like really high up. And I feel like where we are, we're further back from the upper bowl in Calgary and this. Huh. And I said, we're not further back. We may be higher up, but we're not further back because of the way it's built. In Calgary, if we were in an upper bowl, we would be further back from the ice, but we would be lower down.
Yeah. Well, the Saddle Dome is short. That's why.
Well, it's all relative, right? So he's like looking at the ice and he's going, I don't know if he's trying to convince me that he thinks where my seats are like press level in the Saddle Dome. And I'm like, there's no way. Like we're maybe like upper 200s in the Saddle Dome, not press level.
Right.
There's no way. Cause like, I'm like, dude, I've sat press level and it's like press level's high. So again, he's always got something to bitch about when it comes to anything. And I'm just like, I'm trying to enjoy this. This is my first time in the arena. I'm really excited. So It's great. They have like their intro video that's like welcome back fans. The energy, the building is so loud. It's so loud. And even he said that. He was like, I guess acoustically the way it's built, he's like, it's really loud in here. I'm like, yep.
Like almost too much?
I was having fun.
Or it was okay?
It was fine.
Okay.
I mean, I was losing my mind because I was having a blast. But the game starts, and well, even before the game started. So when he got to my house, he had brought his Flames jersey with him, and I told him, because when I go to the Saddle Dome, I don't wear an opposing team's jersey, just because I don't want to bring. I just don't want any kind of like negative interaction because some hockey fans can be shitty, especially when they're drunk.
Yeah,
you add alcohol into the mix, and then you add in the pandemic on top of that.
You wanted him to wear an Oilers jersey?
No, I didn't want him to wear anything. I did say to him at my house, I was like, hey, I have a McDavid jersey you could wear. Like, you could go in disguise like I do at the Saddle Dome. Because I do wear my Flames jersey.
I know.
To the Saddle Dome.
Yeah. We've been to a game.
But I'll cheer for the other team in the Flames jersey. I think it's hilarious. And he was like, no. Like, fuck that. I'm wearing my Flames jersey. And I asked him, I asked him too. I can't remember if I asked him after the game or before the game. I was like, how many other NHL arenas have you ever been to? And he was like, well, I've been to Rexall. Because he obviously been to the Saddle Dome so many times. And he's like, I've been to Rexall. And I was like, okay, so you've been to no NHL arenas then? Because Rexall, like, we're talking like 10 years ago. Like,
right.
Anyway, so I was like, I've been to Madison Square Garden. I've been to Toronto. I've been to Calgary, Edmonton. Like, I've been to a few. And again, I don't wear opposing teams' jerseys because it's just not worth it to me. Other people do. That's fine. To me, I just don't. I'm not necessarily going to draw that kind of attention.
Okay.
So there's of course like little chirps here and there for like Calgary sucks, and then at a certain point the crowd is chanting like Calgary or like go Oilers go, Calgary sucks, and it's just like okay. And he's just like, well, they need a better chant. And I was like, dude, what did you expect? We're in oil country.
Yeah, but you can't get butthurt. You're at a hockey game.
Exactly. And
you
then
just got to like go with it, man.
Yeah. Well, he's not. It wasn't butthurt, but
Well,
like he was just kind of like obviously he wants to see his team win.
Yeah.
Especially he wants to see them win in that building. They weren't going to win. So the first period ended 2-0. Second period, I think, ended 3. I want to say 3-2. Maybe it was 4-2. I can't remember.
Is it packed?
Oh, it was sold out.
Is it packed?
The game was sold out for sure. So it was like loud as hell because like loud as hell. So you're putting like however many thousand people. I think it holds 18,500, something like that. You're cramming all these people during the pandemic, and there's people that are like angry and because of the pandemic and all this stuff, and like just at a certain point in the first period, there was a lot of like tension on the ice because it's a Battle of Alberta game.
Yeah.
So did you watch the game?
No.
Oh, you should have. Dude, Rasmus Anderson headbutted Kyler Yamamoto. He got fined $5,000 after the game for that. But anyway, when that happened, I'm now on high alert because he's wearing a Flames jersey, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, if a fight breaks out on the ice and then suddenly some drunk guy wants to like jump over and start beating him up because he's wearing a Flames jersey, because he's not like chirping, but he's just kind of like throwing out like what he thinks are funny comments every once in a while, and I'm just like, shut up, like stop talking. Woo, go Oilers, go. Like so now I'm kind of concerned because of the target he's put on himself. There was a lot more Flames jerseys than I thought there was going to be.
Oh, there's always Flames fans in
for sure.
Yeah. There's lots of Oilers fans here, like you.
Thankfully, I don't live in this city, but
close enough.
You know what I mean, right? So it's kind of there was like the first period felt way more tense than the rest of the game did, because when it was still 0-0, it was kind of like, ooh, and they're starting to get like real heated on the ice, and like Cassian was trying to fight somebody, and like people are like, they're hitting each other left and right. It was kind of like, okay, like things are starting to get tense, and I was kind of like laughing it off, like, all right, this is fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope nothing happens, and I hope. So we get into the second period. So first period ends 2-0, great. We get into the second period. It's like, okay, tensions have relieved a little bit because like the Oilers are up 2-0. This is okay. And then I think they go up 3-0, and then it's 3-1. It's like, okay, like we're still in control of this game. Then it's 3-2. It's like, all right. Like Calgary scored. It was 3-2. It was like, ooh, I really hope they're not about to blow this lead and like turn this game around. 26 seconds after Calgary had scored that second goal, Jesse Puljujärvi like skates down the ice, almost a breakaway, snipes one past Markstrom, and the place goes insane.
Right, because you just
and we're like,
coffin.
oh yeah, we're like, oh my god, like yes, and it was so like. It was just unreal seeing it like live hockey again, like just the energy and like literally, I was losing my voice by the end of the game because I was screaming so much and having so much fun.
Yeah.
And then in the third period, like they pulled the goalie, and I think with like a minute and a half left, McDavid got an empty net, which was he got a hat trick in that game.
Sweet.
So it's like he puts it away. All of a sudden, hats are flying, and it's like, oh man, the music's so loud. It's just so much fun.
You threw your hat, right?
No, I took my hat. I was wearing this. So Miller's like, throw your hat. And I'm like, no. Took it off, and I'm like holding it. I'm like, please, nobody throw my hat. I'm like, I just bought this hat. And then, so it's like, okay, the boys, they won the game. Like, I think we jumped up out of the seats to like walk out with like 5 seconds left or whatever. And we're like, yeah, let's go. Like, it's good. Got to try to get out of here. And the level of like, it's like, okay, the Oilers won the game. But there was just this like, we're walking out, we're trying to get out of the arena, and there's so many people. And there's only like 3 escalators to get down. So you're, pardon me, there's 3 escalators to get down. So you're kind of trapped on the upper bowl until most of the people make their way down and leave. And the whole time, there's so many people that are like Oilers fans that are drunk, that are just like chirping him for like wearing his jersey and like all this. And so suddenly he's just like, he's all pissed off because he's like, oh, like what the hell? Like why are they? He was like, Oilers fans are the worst, blah, blah, blah. Just like talking shit about how like they do this. And then there was one guy that almost got in his face, and I got in between them, I guess. And like kind of, he was like walking behind us, I guess, like saying shit to Miller. And I'm like, super on high alert of just like making sure that nothing's gonna happen, because I'm like, I'm gonna make sure it's like World War Oilers, and I'm like, I'm gonna get you back to your kids, and he's like the ally or the opposing soldier. I'm like, I'm gonna get you back to your kids, Saving Private Miller. So that there was only like really like one tense moment where he really felt like he had to be on high alert with some drunk guy. But it like ruined the whole night for him, where like we got back to the truck and he was like he was just so pissed. He was like, I can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I've never had that happen. Like at like this, like going to games and stuff, like it's so stupid. And I was like, of course you haven't. You go to Calgary games. Like, what are you talking about? You're wearing
your home team.
Exactly. I'm like, Miller, I've had that happen. And he was like, well, it's just that doesn't happen at the Saddle Dome. I'm like, yes, it does.
It 1,000,000%.
Oh my God, of course it does. If
I'm
wearing
Flame fans aren't chirping Edmonton Oiler fan jerseys,
and I'm trying to explain this to him,
or Vancouver. I've seen Flames fans fight Vancouver fans outside of the game after.
Yeah, and so he's like, I'm never wearing an opposing team's jersey.
Yeah,
to another
you're like,
arena.
that's what I told you.
I'm like, that's what I was trying to tell you before we left.
Some people don't learn until they go through it.
Yeah, and he was like, well, you didn't explain it. I was like, Miller, I tried to in the nicest way possible, where I wasn't just like, don't wear your jersey. And I did
kind of pen and paper. This is you.
Yeah, and I did. Well, and he was like, I didn't think it was going to be that bad. And I'm like, why do you think I wear a Flames jersey to Flames games?
Yeah.
So anyway, he's like super like, just like rattled. He's like, oh, like that was not fun, and like, oh, like that kind of ruined the whole thing for me, and blah, blah. And I was like, I told you not to, for one, and for two, like I'm like, I don't feel bad for you, because what did you expect?
That sucks that that was his first experience, like, going to that stadium with you and like the arena. It just sucks that was his first experience, which also like bled into your first experience a little bit. As much as you had fun and your team won and it was a cool experience, you're now dealing with upset Miller because he did.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm not saying that he ruined the trip. I'm not saying that.
No.
But I'm just saying that, like, you know, when someone has a bad trip, sometimes it leaks over into other people's, and it wasn't the experience that you both wanted at the end of the day.
Course.
So hopefully you learned something.
Oh, I think he did.
Not you, but
no. I think he did. So we get back to the truck, and we're sitting in the truck, and to leave that parkade, because we parked on P2, we're in the truck, and all the aisles in the parkade are full of vehicles, and no one is moving. So we're just sitting there for 25 minutes, and no cars are moving. You know how
you can't even back out because there's people behind
There's
you.
a car parked behind. I'm in my parking space. I wasn't even in the aisle. I'm literally in my
that's what I mean.
And
so you're sitting in your space, and there's just traffic behind you in the aisle.
So I'm like, thankfully, I'm not uber claustrophobic because this would be a nightmare. Because at a certain point, I was like, he's like, this is dumb. And I'm like, well...
Yes.
I'm like, it is dumb, but I mean, like, really, I was like, Victoria Park's no better.
Not at all.
When you're trying to leave a Flames game. Like,
it's at least one ways. At least.
At least it's one ways, and you're on surface streets.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, but...
That might even actually be better. Tiny.
Only the fact that you're outside.
True.
I kind of equated it to Victoria Park because it's like, okay... Yeah, we were stuck underground, but once we did finally start moving, it was just like not fast, but it was kind of like we did kind of move.
Okay. At like a decent pace.
At a decent pace. And then at a certain point, they kind of directed a bunch of us to another exit.
Okay.
And so we didn't exit out the entrance we came in. We exited out like the back of the building.
Okay.
And it was like as soon as I pulled out of the building, there was nothing. No cars, nothing. I'm like, what?
So that was all congestion of just getting out of the building.
What I think happened is there's people with wands directing people and moving cars and stuff like that. And what I think happens is the person standing in the parkade at P2 is having everyone in P2 stop, and they're letting everyone out of P1. But you're also dealing with thousands of people walking on the streets. So vehicles can't pull out if there's like a steady stream of like 200 people. So I think what happened is they were like trying to get everyone out of P1, but also get rid of the people off the streets. And then once P1 was pretty clear, then they started letting P2 go. And then by the time we got out, I had to wait for like 5 people. And then I got on the road, and it was just like, boom.
Okay, cool.
We just... started driving out of downtown.
It's weird that that's not more of a factor when designing a new arena. You know what I mean? Like, you think that maybe there would be more attention paid to, like, hey, how can we ease the flow of traffic when there is this massive bombardment of people that are trying to leave all at the same time? To maybe, like, try and focus the people walking in a different area. So, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just surprised that there wasn't, like, more forethought put into that.
It's tough, though, right? Because it's kind of like, you
could. I'm just saying you
for
could.
sure. Well, and I had
either build the road a different way. There's ways you could engineer it where it could flow better.
What I said to Miller was, like they do in Victoria Park after the Flames games, cops are out there directing traffic.
Right.
And I said, well, you know, cops could help direct this too. Like,
totally.
But the problem with Rogers Place is Stampede Park is like its own little. It's like on the edge of downtown, and you're right, it's one ways, so they can direct traffic a lot easier. Rogers Place, where it is, there's lights and multiple directions on.
It's really in the middle of everything.
Yeah, so it's kind of like he's like the manpower they would have to throw at that every single game to direct traffic is just not worth it.
Yeah, fair.
And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's a good point. So that option's kind of. But you're right. There's probably like they could have built underground tunnels that you could drive out of. Like out if it's like, oh, you're leaving downtown, drive out this tunnel.
Or instead of putting the new arena in the middle of the universe in downtown Edmonton,
put it out in Leduc.
No, but like not even Leduc, but like let's put it on the outside of the city where the city will eventually grow around it.
Well,
but no, like just outside where we have the land where we can build roads, overpasses, plus 97s.
So
like, do you know what I mean?
So that's where
Because
I
you
know
have the room in the area to be able to design it to how you want it.
I know exactly what you're saying, and that's kind of what Rexall was. Like, you've been to Rexall.
Yeah.
Rexall was not on the edge of town, but it was like in a further out spot, had a big parking lot. Like, that was kind of the point of Rexall, and they could have absolutely knocked down not knocked it down, but they could have like built another arena
like
out in
beside it or behind it,
kind of what they're doing
whatever.
with the Saddle Dome, like for the new arena out here.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they could have done the same thing. But the reason they built it in downtown Edmonton is because they want to revitalize their downtown core. Because if they don't have the arena and the ice district, Edmonton doesn't have a whole lot of draw to people going downtown and like building up any kind of nightlife.
Because I went downtown after my tattoo on Saturday because my buddy Dan Soda, he owns a business called River Valley Printing. Shout out. He does like all the prints for all the tattoo. Well, does all the prints for all the. He does prints for tattoo artists, and that's his business. And it's in downtown or on the edge of downtown Edmonton.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna go see him because he was having a pop up that day.
In proximity to the arena, how close? Did you see it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know in proximity to how.
This is only the first time I've ever been second time I've ever been downtown Edmonton.
Me too.
Yeah, like I don't know downtown at all, so I don't know.
But I went down there. I found him. He was having a pop up because it was his 10-year anniversary.
Gotcha.
I thought, I'm in town. I'm going to go see him. He's a really good homie. Anyways, me driving into downtown Edmonton from the tattoo shop, which was like on White Ave.
Yeah.
So it's like, kind of our 17th into downtown. I got there and I swear to God, it was a ghost town.
Yeah.
There was no people walking. There was no cars on the streets.
Yeah.
There was I sat at 3 sets of lights where there was no traffic. I was just sitting there and this is 3:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday.
Yep.
So I'm like, the comparison is so much different when it is Calgary's core isn't necessarily hopping like it would be in Vancouver. No, but it's busy.
For sure. Yeah,
Other cities like Toronto and Vancouver, they have really busy, active downtown cores,
Yeah.
Calgary does, but not so much. Anyways, but more than Edmonton. So it was cool.
Yeah, no, and I'm not surprised by that at all. So that's exactly why they built the arena in downtown Edmonton, was to build up that downtown core.
Weird.
There's a casino. We wanted to go look at the casino, but there's signs on it that says it's temporarily closed. Literally, we're in Ford Hall, about to go into the game, and then there's a casino just right there. It's all part of all the hotels are part of it. It's all just one complete package.
Huh.
But it is difficult. So in my head, I'm like, oh, okay. So if the game ends at 10:30, 10:45, I was like, realistically, I can be home by 1 o'clock. 1:30, right? I got to my house at 20 after 2 because we had to stop. I didn't fill up the truck before we left, and I had to stop in Red Deer and get gas.
Okay.
And then for him, he has to drive all the way home too. So he didn't get home till 3 in the morning, and he's got 3 kids, right? So he's
tired guy on Sunday.
Yep. He was like, tomorrow's going to suck. And I was like, yes, it is. But you wanted to come with me. So I don't think he's going to be going to another game. At least not at least if he goes to one at Rogers Place, he's not going to wear a Flames jersey.
Yeah, I was going to be like, he ain't going to be wearing that jersey.
No, hell no. I had a really good time though.
Good.
It was really and even the parking thing at the end, or trying to leave at the end, that didn't really bother me at all. Because I was like, I'm safe. I'm in my truck. I'm like, whatever. Yeah. I don't care if it takes me 20 minutes to get out of here. And I know I'm going to have to do that a whole bunch. Well, I'm going to look for a different parking lot because I think I'm going to the game tomorrow. But I was just like, you know what? Whatever. It's not the end of the world. I had a really good time overall. And I don't know if I would buy season tickets again next year, though. Because it's a lot of effort.
Oh,
it's a lot of effort.
That's a little flippity do.
It's funny because I know because it's I had a really good time, but it's just it's not stressful. It's kind of stressful, but because it's I know the games I want to go to, and then I know the ones that I have to sell in order to break even on my season, so that I'm not none of them go to waste. I'm not looking to make money on my season at all. I'm just trying to offset the cost of the games I can't go to because I don't live in the city.
Yep.
And
it almost would make sense for your time and your effort to really almost get Calgary season tickets.
Yeah.
And then just go to every Edmonton game. I mean, especially after this season of you having these tickets, you're going to be going to so many games over the next 6-8 months that you're going to go to to Rogers so many times that you're going to be like, okay, I've done that for a season. It was good. And then you can go back and buy tickets if you want to ever go back. But you should get Flames.
Okay, so the thing is, what I'm confused, like the thing is with that, I was surprised I was able to buy season tickets.
Oh, 100%.
Because most teams have had a waiting list for a long time, but I think COVID is what screwed all that up.
Yeah.
And I think they're really pushing because a lot of people gave up their season tickets because they don't want to
go.
They don't want to get vaccinated or they don't want to go. So they were like, I'm done. So that's why I was able to buy season tickets. And now that I've bought them, I'm kind of like, ooh, all right. The resale market in like I have a friend who he's had Flames tickets for many years.
Like season tickets, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about the one you think of. It's a different friend. And I was talking to him about it where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to offload like the majority of my season. And he was like, dude, the resale market right now is just like, it's awful. Also, Calgary season tickets are more expensive than Oilers season tickets.
And they did call you after and you were like, sorry.
Oh yeah, because I had put my name down
of the list.
Well, yeah, because I had put my name down for both.
Right,
and
I know.
Oilers,
I just bought Edmonton.
Yeah, Edmonton came up first, and I was like, sorry.
I would have bought timing.
Mm-hmm. I think I would have bought Calgary ones because I could literally go to every single game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's
all good, man.
We'll see what happens next year. Overall, I had a really, really good time.
That's good.
But yeah, I think I've done like 45 minutes on this story. What else? What else did you?
It was good. It was great. I had a good time. Thanks. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's no. One thing. Okay, I wanted to ask you about. There's a couple things I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
Are you watching American Crime Story Impeachment?
No.
Which is the third season.
Okay. No, I want to.
Yeah, because you watched the first season, the OJ one, right?
Loved it.
So good.
That
Did
was
you watch?
my teenage hood in news and media.
So good.
Right there. Like, we watched the trial in school.
Yeah, I believe it.
They shut the lights off, brought the TV on the stand in, and was like, we're going to watch this. And I was like, this is school.
Yeah.
And we're watching like O.J. Simpson trial in school. I loved it. And I thought everybody who was in that was phenomenal.
Oh, they were great.
I tried to watch the Versace one.
I did too. I think I got one.
Could not get into it. The characterization was good. The actors were good. I couldn't get into the story. Like, I understand it's real life, but I had no empathy for anybody. Like, I felt bad for Versace, obviously, but like, I just couldn't connect.
Yeah, but you weren't there.
I remember it happening, but it wasn't like,
See,
okay.
I don't remember. I don't know anything about
Versace
that.
got shot. Like, okay. Like, I'm not, you know, like,
I don't
that's
know.
terrible,
Yeah.
but had no, like, I don't know.
That's exactly, but that's the reason I didn't watch it is because I started to kind of watch it. I was like, oh yeah, like a lot of good actors in this, and like it's done really well, but I'm like, I don't know anything about this, so it didn't really do anything for me. So,
but I want to, and I have looked for. So I have a Cody box.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for it on the Cody box, and I can't. It's my box is messed up, so I have to. I got to get the new program so that I can get access to it. Basically.
Okay.
So, but it's on my watch list.
I was so excited for.
I've heard phenomenal things about it, though. Honestly,
I'm not gonna. I won't ruin anything for you
because obviously, your opinion.
I'm going to tell you my opinion. I mean, it's a story we all know.
Oh,
anyway.
100%. Yeah.
And there's things I didn't know about that story that are kind of coming to light through the show, and I'm sure some of it is dramatized.
Sure.
Or dramatized. But also, it's like, oh, I didn't know this, and like, oh, okay, that's good. You know, and everybody that's in it is really good. Like, okay, so Beanie Feldstein,
okay,
like Jonah Hill's sister, as Monica Lewinsky. Amazing.
I've seen a side by side. It's insane.
She's killing it as Monica Lewinsky. I'm also like weirdly attracted to.
She's
Monica.
Cute though.
She's cute
and
as
Monica
hell.
Lewinsky was cute. Though.
She was.
Like back in those.
Still is though. She's still.
I haven't seen her recently.
She's still a good looking.
But
woman.
like when they were all like intern, I'm like, yeah, I can
100%.
see why he got a blowjob from her. Like,
but yeah, Beanie Feldstein as Monica Lewinsky. Into it. It's awesome.
And like Eddie Falco as Hillary. Right?
Oh. Yeah.
That's a pretty good casting.
Yeah, but I think she's been in it like twice.
Okay.
And I don't even think they're really showing her face. So that might be so. And I don't know if that, because we're like 8 episodes. No, not 8. Maybe, I don't know. We're pretty deep into it.
Okay.
Into the seat. Like Chris and I've watched every episode because I bought it on iTunes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there hasn't been a whole lot of Hillary.
Okay.
A lot of Bill.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Clive Owen is playing Bill.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, and he's doing a pretty good job. Honestly, if they had just cast Daryl Hammond as Bill Clinton, it would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, like it's weird because when the series started and the first time you see Bill Clinton, I was like, oh, and I had to really look at him and be like, is that, in my head I was like, is that Clive Owen? And then I looked it up and I'm sure enough it's Clive Owen. Now that I know it's Clive Owen, I can't see anybody else.
Got you.
Other than, because he's got a lot of makeup on to make him look like Bill Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing a decent like Bill Clinton impression, but I'm like, in my head, I'm kind of like, maybe like they could have cast somebody else. Sarah Paulson.
Yeah. As
Linda Tripp.
Tripp, yeah.
She's unrecognizable.
Oh, yeah.
As Sarah Paulson.
Yeah, the fat suit on.
She is Linda Tripp.
Yeah.
It is. Sarah Paulson is insane. She's so good.
Insane.
And every time Linda Tripp is on TV, there's no part of me that's looking at her going, oh, that's Sarah Paulson. When Beanie is on screen, I'm not looking at. It's weird. I have a friend who looks exactly like Beanie.
Okay.
So every time Beanie's on screen, I'm looking at Beanie going, oh, that's my friend.
Yeah.
Not Monica Lewinsky. So it's
Gotcha.
kind of weird in that sense. But oh my God, Sarah Paulson is unbelievable in that series. One of the biggest problems I've had with the series is that it just feels like we're now getting to like the really good stuff.
Oh, shit.
And it feels like
7 episodes in, 8 episodes in.
There's a
Damn,
couple.
they are making you wait.
There's a couple episodes where not a lot happens, and then even the cliffhanger that they leave you on at the end of the episode, you're kind of like, okay, like basically the way I'm like, it would have made a really, really, really good 2-hour movie. It didn't need to be an 8-hour series. That's the way. I think it's 6. I think we're 6 in, and there's 2 more or something like that.
Got you.
It didn't need to be a full season.
Or maybe
I
a
think.
3-parter.
Maybe 3 parts, like a mini, like
Like a
it could
good
have
45-minute 3-parter.
Honestly, if they had made 4 episodes, it would have been so much better. Then there's been like some stuff where it feels like they're holding on certain things too long, and there's certain things that they've introduced that just completely go away. That like there was this like whole. I understand why they introduced it and why they played it up so much, because it's the guy that initially broke the story. But it was like, why was that necessary? Like, why was his entire character development where you introduce him as like this person and then. Like it just like he had a whole story arc for no reason. It felt like it was very, and then you never hear about him again.
Right,
So
like
it's
he's
kind of
gone.
like, all right, like the series. They kind of do it like not Tarantino style, but like they open the series with like they give you the moment when Monica knows that she's been double crossed, and so that's like how the series opens, and then you don't see that for. A really long time. So it just feels like it's going really slow.
Fair enough.
But it's still really well done, and it's really there I'd say 75% of it is really well acted.
Okay. I know once I get my hands on it, I'll watch it.
Oh, it's totally worth watching.
Especially in the winter, I'll watch anything.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's totally worth watching. You didn't go see Halloween Kills, did you? No.
Well, you posted about wanting to go.
Oh, I've seen it.
I didn't know if you went.
Yeah, I
want to go see the new Halloween movies.
Yeah.
I want someone to go with. So you went.
Yeah.
Did you go with?
I went by myself.
Okay.
I watched it by myself. So I loved it.
Okay.
Because Michael Myers is my favorite of that slasher genre.
Yeah.
There is so much about that movie that's so badass, and he's just there's so many good kills in it where it's just like there's absolutely no hesitation.
I think that's what I was missing from the first one, the previous one.
Fair enough. You probably if you didn't like
dirty, gritty slasher.
If
enough
you
for
didn't
me.
like the 2018 one, you're not going to like this one.
But you just said it was better kills. Like good kills.
No, I said there was good kills. I didn't say there was better
Well,
kills.
good
there
kills.
was, but there's
like
there's a whole subplot to that movie that I did not like at all.
What do you mean?
So there's like the A plot of like the Michael Myers going and he's like trying to kill Laurie Strode, and like there's that whole
the
you
people
know
who survived in the first round,
and there's this subplot of these because it where Halloween 2018 ends is where Halloween Kills starts.
Right.
Like they're
like the next day.
literally no, it's not. No. It's like 5 minutes later.
Okay.
It's literally because you know that kid that gets stuck on the gate, like he kills him and puts him on the gate or whatever. That's where the movie starts.
Okay.
And it's like, you know, the boyfriend who like kisses the other girl and pisses off his girlfriend, like the main girl's. Yeah. The movie starts with him like trying to call her and like, I'm so sorry for kissing. And I'm like, oh shit. All right. We're like right here. All right. That's where it starts. And so it's literally the same night. And yeah, he just like, it's crazy because like it's like we've already seen a whole movie of him like going and massacring people, and then it's literally okay. 5 minutes later, all right, he goes and massacres more people.
But that's how it should be.
No, and I know, and that's great.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
But there's this, and I don't want to give away too much, but there's just this like under subplot of like this like whole thing where they're kind of like this mob mentality thing takes over with the people in the town, and then
like cancel culture.
Yeah, it kind of it was almost kind of like a preachy thing where they were like,
"Oh my god, did you see what he did in 1970?"
Well, they're like Michael's the real monster and he's turning us into monsters, and it was kind of like okay, like I kind of rolled my eyes at that, but for the most part, like the critics score on Rotten Tomatoes is like 43%. Like the critics did not like the movie. The audience score when I first saw it was 76, and it's kind of dwindling as people go see the movie. But overall, like I'm still happy with it. I'm really excited for the third one, Halloween Ends, which is the next one. I'm really, really excited to see that one because I think it's. Oh, also Laurie Strode takes a back seat in this one, but it makes sense why she does. People were pissed about that. They were like, "Oh, like it sucks that there's not more Laurie Strode in it." I'm like, "Yeah, but it makes sense because she just got stabbed at the end of that one." So
she's recovering
because this one happens 5 minutes later.
She's
like
recovering.
Yeah, like what you expect that she's just going to be like wandering around.
Stitch me up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, like now they made it way more believable than that. It was great.
Watched all of Love on the Spectrum on Netflix, which was amazing.
Tell me about that.
If you want to watch a feel-good show that makes you...
I've seen a little bit of it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I crushed it. I crushed 2 seasons in like 3 days.
I watched 5 minutes of it.
I didn't expect
to
like the show as much as I did, but I ended up truly loving it. I have an affinity for like awkward people kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I love people with Down syndrome. I like people that are on the spectrum. Like I like the quirky, unique, tell it like it is, no bullshit, no beat around the bush, because they don't talk like that. They just tell you how they feel, and I don't know. Anyways, great show. I would recommend it to anybody who just wants a good feel-good show. There's not many shows like that.
No.
Where really, ultimately, from beginning to end, it's a feel-good show. And you're watching people go on first date. It's like, it's a really good show. Shatner in Space. Please, if you have the time, watch CNN, Anderson Cooper's interview with William Shatner after he was in space. It's about 10 minutes long or so, and the interview from beginning to end is absolutely amazing. You get to see William Shatner in space floating around, and he's like, oh, wow.
I saw a clip of it.
I'm weightless.
Yeah.
I'm weightless. Like just his verbiage of like everything, and then him looking at the earth, and then their whole interaction in the interview is hilarious. So Anderson Cooper and William Shatner. He's 92 years old, the oldest person to ever fly to space ever.
I was driving to work last week and I heard about that, and in my head, I didn't look it up, but in my head I was like, I have a feeling he's going to be Guinness record holder for oldest person in space. Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah. I mean, other than the fact that I don't really agree with billionaires being able to shoot themselves into space all the time. Shooting William Shatner into space, 100% agree with that. 100%.
I'm a huge fan. Yeah. I've loved
if Harrison Ford if Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, anybody that's been in the Star Wars movies, if they like Obi-Wan and Hayden Christensen and Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, like any of them are like we kind of like to go to space too, and
Bezos.
No, not Bezos. The other guy, not Zuckerberg. The Tesla. Elon Musk. Thank you. Why did I forget Elon Musk?
It's all good.
If Elon Musk was just like, yeah, I'll send all the Star Wars guys to space purely for a meme, like do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely do it. But don't go to space yourselves, you douchebags.
Yeah, I know they're idiots.
No, I'll watch that interview. That's sad. Sounds
It's
amazing.
But their interaction is so funny because he's so funny, William Shatner.
Oh, yeah.
And he makes Anderson Cooper like a few times in the interview feel like shit in a good way because he'll be like, oh, I didn't know you did that. He's like, oh, you don't know anything about me. You just think he's like sarcastic and like Anderson Cooper's at one point like off screen like laughing hysterically. It's just a really good interview and you get to see his experience in space as a 92-year-old man. Like it was life-changing for him. Like he literally had a life-changing experience.
At 92.
Yes.
And I mean, really, like what's the worst that's going to happen? You die at 92 going into space?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you are forever remembered as like being a badass who died going to space.
Yeah.
You're William Shatner who died going into space.
Yeah.
You're
Pretty
Betty
cool.
White who died going into space at 90. Like Betty White is now going to try to go to space just to beat him.
Yeah.
Because she's 99.
Yeah. BuzzFeed did a ranking of all of the best cookies.
Okay.
40 all-time favorite cookies.
40?
Yeah. So a lot of these are American cookies.
Oh, okay.
So
are we talking like brand name cookies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So 40 all-time favorite cookies ranked from entirely overrated to these belong in a cookie museum.
Okay.
So at number 40,
Yeah.
what do you I mean, there's a lot of options.
40 being overrated?
Just least favorite.
Okay. I mean, we're talking like maybe a digestive cookie?
Yeah, I would go there.
Okay.
They're at Fig Newton.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
That 40 is Fig Newton?
I'm okay
Fig
with
Newton,
that.
Fig Newton's at my 40 for
I'm
sure.
okay with that. 39.
Oh my God, are you running all through 40?
No,
okay.
no.
39.
Frosted sugar cookies. So you know those ones that you get at like Walmart?
Yes. Okay.
I've never had them before.
Krista loves them.
Really?
She literally they the Halloween version that is out right now because it's Halloween time. She bought their mini versions.
But they have like pumpkins on them or whatever, right?
No,
Or
they're
something?
purple and orange, and then they have like little bat sprinkles on them, and then you can get them in pumpkins.
Never had them before.
They are so bad.
Oh, God.
Ugh, I hate them. And she's like, "Do you want a little cookie?" I'm like, "No, I don't want a little cookie." Okay, so what?
Let's just do top 10. I'll run through them really quick because I know we've been a while today. Okay, so Edmonton's milk chocolate chip cookies, we can't get them here. Miss Fields, number 9. You've had Miss Fields cookies before.
Really?
We
Miss
had them-
Fields are pretty good.
They're good.
Okay,
So number 9.
Okay.
So the at-home Pillsbury Holiday Sugar Cookie Bakes. So you get the pumpkin, the Christmas
And
tree
number
ones.
8?
Yeah, and the bunny ones.
Really?
That's what they said. I like them, but not crazy.
Okay. Number
Chips
7,
Ahoy.
Chips Ahoy. Yeah,
okay. Number 6, Nutter Butters.
I love Nutter
Remember
Butters.
the chocolate cover
Yes,
that you got?
I can still
Oh
get
my
them.
God, so
You
good.
can still get them in Canada. I'm so happy you can get Nutter Butters in Canada now.
Pepperidge Farm.
I'm confused about
Never
that.
had those.
I've had them and they're okay.
Keebler Fudge Strips.
Those are awesome.
I've never had those.
Those are essentially like the dad cookie ones that are like the chocolate coconut rings. They're like rough.
original Oreos at 3.
Original. Okay, so hold on. Don't run through this too quickly.
Yeah.
So top 3 is Oreos at 3.
Yeah. Original Oreos.
Okay.
Okay. Number
So
2.
now I thought Oreo would be number 1.
Okay, that's your number 1.
Well, I just thought it would be number. It's not necessarily my number 1, but I thought it would be number 1. Nutter Butter's probably not my number 1
Okay.
because I love Nutter Butters. That's why I don't
They
buy
are
them.
really good.
Because I can't. I will eat an entire box in one sitting.
That's fair.
Okay, number 2.
Nestle Toll House chocolate chip cookies. These obviously we can't buy here. They're American.
Oh, the ones you bake at home.
The ones you bake at
I've
home.
had those before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Those are good. No, it's pronounced Nestle Dolaus
Oh.
from.
So you weren't really wrong when you said that Oreos would be your number 1 because they put the golden Oreo
What?
as number 1. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
What?
Definitely not number one.
Golden
Number
Oreo is
one.
number one?
Number
This
one.
is BuzzFeed?
BuzzFeed.
What?
Right?
What the hell?
Not agreeing, BuzzFeed.
No, I disagree vehemently. If anything, Golden Oreos are like 20 for me.
Bottom.
They're
I would eat almost every single Oreo flavor ever before I got to gold.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
You eat a gold Oreo cookie, and you're basically eating a vanilla cookie with vanilla, like, which is fine, but there's nothing mind blowing going on there.
They're not. They're
quite bland.
There is nothing wrong with them. They
No,
are, I like
they're fine.
them.
Yeah.
If I'm going to the grocery store and I'm like, if the wife is like, oh, well, grab a package of Oreos, which one are you grabbing for? Chocolate, probably
Definitely
chocolate
not
original,
gold.
Probably chocolate original,
Right.
if not double
Stuffed, 100%.
I'm surprised. When you said before you turned your phone around, I thought it was going to be like Oreo
Like
double
a flavor
stuff.
or
No,
something.
I thought it was going to be double
double
stuff.
stuff, yeah.
And I also flavor.
chocolate
I'm
dips.
running through my head going, what flavor could it possibly be?
Because they have so many. Cinnamon
Well, they're like the
bun and,
Pop-Tarts of cookies.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, when I say that, Pop-Tarts and their flavors, Pop-Tarts flavors aren't good. Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
Beyond the blueberry, strawberry,
Like the fruit ones.
and like maybe the chocolate ones.
Right.
The chocolate one. Once you start getting into like birthday cake and you start getting into like milkshake,
S'mores.
like their Pop-Tarts are not that good. They taste really weird. And
My heart belongs to toaster strudels.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why I don't buy toaster strudels or Eggos, because I will eat them all at once.
100%. I agree. And actually, more recently, I've been going to the grocery store and I've been trying to find my cinnamon toast waffles or whatever, or cinnamon Eggos.
Yeah.
And I can't find them.
Oh,
so I don't
people
know
are
if it's
on
just
it.
my grocery store or if I have to go to a
Maybe.
different one and look. Because I really hope that they haven't discontinued those.
Okay.
Because they're those are real good. I can't believe that. Golden Oreos.
Yeah.
That is...
I know it's long today, but I also had a psychic reading on Sunday, so we could talk about that next podcast.
That'll actually make sense because next week will be the Halloween episode, so that'll be perfect. We'll talk. We'll save that for next week.
Maybe psychic is an aliens.
Ooh. Oh yeah. Hilariously, the Halloween episode is going to be a lot of you talking, which is good. It's actually
You're
good.
definitely the Bert of this podcast.
I talked a lot this podcast, but I don't
I'm
feel
definitely
bad
the
at all.
Tom of this podcast.
To it. But I'm Tom in real life, so that's fine.
We have traits of both.
We have traits.
We
of
both have traits of
Bert
both.
and Tom, did you? Oh my! Before we leave, you saw? I think because you were watching it at your desk, but I think you saw the thing where they were like, "We should get each other's dicks tattooed on." Yeah. Okay. No part of me ever wants to do that with you.
No.
So don't ask.
No.
Because the first thing I thought of was like, I don't want to do that with Adam. That is so funny, and I really hope that they do
It's
it.
them.
It's
They would never
them.
do it. They would never do it. Their wives would never let them do that.
That's true.
There's no
I don't
way.
think. I think the funny thing is I don't think their wives would let them do it. I think Krista would let me do it.
Fair.
She would be like, "Do it. That's hilarious," and I'd be
That's
like,
fair.
"Oh man." I would be the one that would be I would have the
yeah.
apprehension about like, I don't want my
course.
friend's dick tattooed on me. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're going to end. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the MP podcast every week. What did I call it this week? Macro
Pigs?
Macro Pigs or something? Yeah, it's the Macro Pig podcast this week. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Lincoln.
I'm A-Bomb.
We'll catch you next week.